The Chainlink Automated Compliance Standard is actually a set of standards for identity, policy management, connectivity with compliance systems that adds up to a set of services in the automated compliance engine, which basically solve the problem of identity and compliance for blockchain transactions. This class of problems in the blockchain industry have existed ever since institutions were considering chains. It's actually the main blocker that they have for using blockchains. One of the solutions that they had to this in the past was private chains, but the better solution is actually a set of standards for how identity and compliance policies work on thousands of different chains, which is what the automated compliance standard from Chainlink is about. It's a way to prove to counterparties what the identity is of your client. They can prove to you what the identity is of their client. There's a level of organizational identity, and there's a level of policy management. Policies are basically the rules of compliance that need to get implemented on chain. So for the first time now, you have a cohesive system with an identity component, a policy management component, and the ability to meet all the requirements of institutions so that the institutions can transact with each other on chain, which will increase institutional adoption of blockchains and the onboarding of institutions into our industry. But then you also want to power the DeFi TradFi convergence through this standard. And you want to enable the DeFi ecosystem to have an efficient, easy way to implement onboarding, identity, policies that match the requirements of the institutional user. Personally, I think that the start of this institutional trend will be heavily driven by the ability to comply with their regulations. So the automated compliance standard from Chainlink will enable that. But later, as it develops and as the DeFi and RWA community understands how innovating and optimizing the ability to comply with those user and institutional requirements for regulation makes them more competitive, I actually think that compliance will become a feature of the blockchain industry. So it won't be something that holds it back. It's actually something that makes it more competitive than traditional finance versions of the same financial product. What that means is that you basically arrive at a world where the TradFi onboarding process is 1 to 2 to 3 months. And the DeFi RWA onboarding process is 1 to 2 to 3 seconds. Because you can instantly verify the compliance of a transaction. You can near instantly verify the identity of the entity and the client in the transaction. That's really what we're going towards with the automated compliance standard, is the ability to use blockchains and smart contracts as a better method of compliance. And if the industry and the automated compliance standard are able to do that, then the cost of compliance, the friction of compliance can be eliminated from the DeFi RWA version of a financial product, but it will still remain in the TradFi version of that financial product. And that is actually a very big competitive advantage. So I think initially the automated compliance standard will implement the inclusion of institutional capital into the DeFi, RWA, and TradFi chain ecosystems. It'll enable those ecosystems to interoperate between each other in a legally acceptable way, meeting the regulatory requirements that are now becoming clearer, which are very important for that capital to flow on chain. But then, if it's developed properly and it's done correctly together with the regulators, and they actually pass laws that enable the on-chain compliance version of compliance to be viewed as more reliable and more secure, then this could actually become a huge feature of our industry. And then you will have much less friction to get into this industry than you would to have for using a TradFi version of the financial product. That's really the end state that hopefully the automated compliance standard can get the whole digital asset, blockchain, and RWA industries to, which I think is very exciting and can really accelerate its adoption if done the right way.